Dave Durson of the Chicago Bears was an NFL athlete who suffered from multiple concussions, and he committed suicide at the age of 50. According to the Boston University Center of Traumatic Brain Injury, Durson had a moderate advanced case of CTE. The cause? Concussions. After many similar tragedies in the NFL, the league have taken precautions to try and stop this from happening. I am here today to try and have the same rule for high school sports. Just because student athletes are not at the same level as professional does not mean they can get hurt the same way. A concussion is a traumatic brain injury, also known as TBI, which has an outcome of headaches, altered levels of alertness, unconsciousness, and affects the way your brain works in a short period of time. But it can also have lasting effects on your memory, judgment, reflexes, speech, balance, coordination, and sleep are all caused by concussions. The National Center for Injury Prevention did a study that found out that 40% of high school football players say they have had a concussion during the season. Of those 47%, 35 are reporting multiple concussions in the same season. But there is a bigger issue. About 85% of those players have had a concussion twice in the same season. Also, if they were diagnosed, they are rarely managed correctly. To help protect the athletes from future injury, this can be related to some schools not being able to pay for professional athletic trainers at their school.
What causes concussions?
Good question. Concussions occur at any point in time where significant moving or jarring of the head happens. The movement of your head in any direction may cause you to become unconscious. Depending on how long you are unconscious may be the severeness of the concussion. A concussion can change a person's life forever, but with the law that this guideline is set to follow before returning back to participating in sports can help save lives. This law should include a balance test, a neuropsychological test, an EEG test, which is for brain waves, and an MRI. If all of these tests are followed and passed, there should be no lasting effects of concussion, and the student should be allowed to return to sports. If failed, they should have to wait 4 weeks and take it again. I believe that this rule could change how student athletes are treated and let them know that we actually care about them. Most of us have been around a coach who only cares about winning, and they will play a player even if concussed if it will help them beat the opponent. With this law, that doesn't matter. They would have no choice but to follow the guidelines given.
Will there be punishments for the coaches now?
Yes, perhaps a fine or suspension or even losing their jobs. With punishments like this, they will be more afraid to break the rule, which puts student athletes in better hands. How do you know if you've been concussed? There are 4 major categories that concussions symptoms fall under. The first is mental. You cannot think clearly, feeling slow, have a difficulty concentrating, and cannot remember new information. The second is physical, having headaches, blurry vision, vomiting, can't balancing, and have no vision. The third is emotional, getting easily upset or angered. The fourth and final category is sleep. If concussions are not treated right, you can have problems falling asleep and not being able to sleep at all. If you don't want any of these to happen to perhaps your kids, then you need to support my law. The last thing that I would like to leave you with are some facts about concussions that I have gotten from the Sports Concussion Institute. There are an estimated 1.6 to 3.8 million concussions happening every year. 5 to 10% of athletes will get a concussion every sport season they play. Less than 10% of those people-related concussions make the athletes lose consciousness. Football has the highest concussion rate of 75% regarding males. Soccer has the highest for females with 50%. Like I said earlier, this law can only help us take better care of our student athletes and make sure they are only on the field when they are 100% cleared. I am not saying that my law will stop concussions altogether, but hopefully help eliminate long-term effects. If athletic groups were to take this precaution 10 years ago, Chicago Bear Dave Durson might be around today.